Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this fine good evening. It is Tuesday, November the 20th. Wow, the month is flying by, but welcome to another Bedtime Stories From Beyond episode here of the Paranormal Portal. I hope you enjoy it. Tonight we're going to talk about divine intervention. Now, many people have believed through the course of our histories that we are being guided and looked after and watched over by what could otherwise be gods or higher powers or great spirits or whatever have you. So tonight we're going to get into a little bit about those and see what you guys think, but get all snuggly because it's time for bed. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bedtime Stories From Beyond here on the Paranormal Portal. And thank you so much for joining me here. I'm just absolutely tickled. All of the amazing feedback I'm getting about this new addition to the lineup of the Paranormal Portal. So thank you all, and hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you continue to enjoy it and spread the word, etc., etc. But tonight we're going to talk about divine interventions, and it's the idea that, people claim that somehow something, someone, something, some being, some force, some energy intervened and protected them or changed the circumstances of their lives or saved them from some certain problem. And they claim this divine providence, this wonderful idea that something was there keeping track of them. Now, I'm not advocating any religion or religious idea, and I never will, because I think that religion is incredibly individual and is subjective to you, whatever that may mean in your life. And even if it means no formal religion, but you've kind of got your own idea of what goes on. I don't think that there's any one person that can say, these are the circumstances, the end. There are certainly those people out there and those organizations out there, and that's fine. I'm not condemning anything nor promoting anything, but what I'm talking about is just the idea that something has stepped in, something has created change and in a positive, wonderful way. And so we're going to get into these tonight here on our show. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm trying to keep things positive and light leading up to the Thanksgiving holiday, because I just, it's a happy holiday, I think, for most of us. And it's, the paranormal can be pretty dark and brooding a lot of times. And I think I would rather send you guys into wow, weird. I heard a squeaky thing in my ear. But I would rather send you guys into the holiday with, happy vibes and all that stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just hearing that. Oh, I think it was my minion. Never mind. Just came through so weird. It was like, what the hell is that? But I got a little one, and he's loves to make some noise because that's what little minions do. So anyway, let's get into these stories, and we'll see what you guys think. And thank you to all of you who are joining us as we speak. Again, these are going to happen every night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So whatever that means to your time zone. Initially, I just said 7 p.m., but then I got a lot of messages like, what do you mean 7 p.m.? Where? What? Who's 7 p.m.? It's like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of them out there. So 7 p.m. Pacific time, which is the West Coast time. So whatever that means for you, I hope you guys can be here, and I hope that you will continue to be here. The portal is on now 7 days a week, so there's just a lot of portaling going on. So we're going to get into the first one here and see what you guys think about this. And, okay, so the first one is really... okay, this one is more... I don't know if this one's really divine intervention, but I'll read it anyway, because I think it's pretty awesome. The volume is low. Huh. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've gotten this message as well. And some of you guys say the volume is fine. Some of you guys are saying it's really low. I cranked up my volume tonight. I don't know how much more I could do. I guess I can do it a little more here up in the preamp. I'm doing my best. I hope I'm able to be heard, but I'm running out of ability to jack up the sound. And I don't know if it's my voice. The tone of my voice doesn't play as well on some speakers as others. I don't know. I don't understand what the what the problem is, but I'm loud as hell in my own ears, so I'm going to turn down my monitor mix here a little bit because I'm blowing my own ears out. But I do apologize if it's. Please let me know after the end of the show if it's still low, and I'll look at some other options. But I don't know what else I can do currently with the setup that I have. But I do apologize. I'm doing everything I can to give you guys the best show that I know how to give you. So, all right. The first one is, and this one sounds like just good health practice more than divine intervention, but this person says, I had a coworker who was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And they said that she decided that instead of going through chemotherapy, she was going to juice because she didn't want to do the chemo. And who can blame her? My God, that is just a horridly harsh regimen of treatments. But the good news is 4 months later, this person was cancer-free. And so that to me sounds like a dietary thing. And it just worked out for this person to juice and beat their cancer. But, maybe it is divine intervention. I don't know. And I guess it's not a bad thing if this person believes that it is, because at the end of the day, if you believe that something is helping you, then that's a wonderful place to be. So this one, I don't know. Let me go to the next one. Let's see. Oh, it's just, if I don't acknowledge a message on my phone, it buzzes at me several times, so I have to acknowledge it. So, and thank you, Pixie. I appreciate that. Okay, so the next one is, this one I thought was incredibly interesting, and it could be a medical mistake. It could be, but what if it's not? What if it's better than that? So my grandfather had a heart attack while driving, and he crashed his car into a tree. He was without oxygen to his brain for 25 minutes. The hospital did everything they could to revive him, and actually trying to revive him for over 3 hours, because it was a veterans hospital and he was a decorated Green Beret. I was called to the hospital and was informed that he was brain dead. He was without oxygen for far too long. And I absolutely bawled. I cried and felt horrible. And all the while, my family was around his bedside talking to him. The doctors told them that he might be able to hear them, and they were going to take him off of life support that night. But my uncle, coming from San Diego, missed his flight and couldn't come until morning, so they decided to wait. And well, it's a good thing. A few hours later, I was next to my grandpa, and his hands started twitching. I called the nurse in, and she told us that these were just spasms and that it was normal. The twitches kept getting more and more frequent and severe. And after a while, The doctors started to get a little concerned. They checked his vitals and they seemed absolutely surprised and shocked. After a while, he opened his eyes. We were all in shock, complete disbelief. They told us he was brain dead and we were going to take him off of life support. He couldn't talk for hours, but asked for a pen and notepad to write something. The first thing he wrote was Energizer, and then the second thing he wrote was Bunny. It took him about 2 days before he could speak, and now 4 years later, he is fully functioning at 62 years of age. So this was the situation where they were going to pull the plug, and somehow, even though he was brain dead, and I imagine they did EEGs and all of that, he had no brain activity and then somehow came back. So that is marvelous, and that is no small thing. Could it be divine intervention? Yeah, I think it could. All right, the next one is, and this one, you hear these kind of stories quite a bit, and could it be just a lapse of perception? Could it be somebody didn't really realize their surroundings because of what was going on? And it's possible. But what if it's not? What if they knew exactly what was going on and still this occurred? So I'm going to read it to you and you guys can, believe what you will. This person was 18 and driving down the freeway towards San Diego. And I was on the far right lane going about 65 miles an hour, and there was an old Asian driver who was going about the same speed as me on the left lane, or the lane to my left, rather. And there was a bunch of other cars around us at steady pace, going all at a steady pace, and he didn't realize I was right next to him and tried to merge into my lane. I absolutely freaked out and swerved to my right to avoid him hitting me, and my car, which was a 1996 Accord, broke out and ended up doing 2 360s through 4 lanes, and I stopped facing the oncoming traffic. There were absolutely no cars around me when it happened, and when I stopped, the cars were a really good distance from me. It was as if something pushed all of them back when my car lost traction. I didn't hit anyone, and after I stopped, I was in total shock and took a second to catch my breath. And then I pulled off over to the side and just started bawling like a baby. So is that a divine intervention? Is that something intervened? Something pushed it away? Something changed those circumstances to avoid a problem or very severe injury or death? Maybe of several people if it would have gone the way it did, but suddenly there was no cars around when the car lost traction. And that's incredibly powerful. No, let's see. This one I thought was really pretty cool, and I like this one. And I'm going to get into my thoughts about all of these after I finish the last of the stories that I'm going to share with you. I had cancer that was slow to respond even to, apparently it's called Red Devil chemo. The doctor switched me to Ibrance plus a hormonal drug. I took it for 3 months, and the tumor went from being the size of a very large grapefruit to a tumor too small to be measured. The doctors say they never saw anything like it. After 3 months, I needed a refill on the hormonal drug, and I called the oncology nurse, and I gave her the name of the medicine, and she said it was never prescribed for me. The doctor prescribed something else completely. The records indicated the drug I was on was one that no one ever gave me, but it was the combination that tamed that tumor. No one knows where that prescription came from. They were joking that, well, there's a blind study that no one can discuss. So it was incredibly fortuitous. She or he, and I don't know who submitted the story, but it's incredibly powerful that they were prescribed a medication blend, and somehow were given the wrong medication, and instead were given a hormonal drug along with a different one, and that combination defeated that tumor and caused it to reduce to immeasurable size. How amazing is that? And I don't know if what you guys think of stuff like that, but to me, just look at what was at risk. That person's life was at risk. Their future was at risk. And so somehow this accident happened, or, we'll say accident for the sake of the discussion, but something happened to change the medications this person was given, and that exact blend worked to cause that tumor to be defeated. Anything else would have been ineffective, I would imagine. But for some reason, that blend defeated that tumor. Now, I hope somebody in the medical field was taking notes and going, hey, this is really interesting. It shouldn't have happened, but look what happened when it did. So I don't think there's a better case study for that. But anyway, I digress. Now, this one does have some religious undertones to it, actually some pretty profound religious undertones to it. And again, this isn't me advocating a religion, so I don't ever mean to offend or to make people believe that this is, some show trying to convert people, because it's not. I just talk about phenomena. And sometimes these phenomena happen within religious communities, and I can't ignore them for the sake of somebody's opinion. So do bear with me, but I think it's a very cool message, regardless of the foundation of it, whether it agrees with you or not. But my dad was in a horrible car accident in 1994 and had to walk with a cane because of several herniated discs. The doctors did back surgery on him and fused part of his spine together with titanium rods, and he was bedridden for a good amount of time. I was really small and believed that Jesus would heal him if we would just go to one of those places that I would see on TV. And in parentheses, they say Benny Hinn Crusades. And my mom heard that a local church was busing people to one of them, and she called and got us seats. We were seated in the nosebleed section, and it came to the part of the night where people started walking on stage and reporting that they were healed. And I looked at my dad and said, "Don't you want to be healed? You should go down there." At that time, my little sister said the same thing to him. She was around 5 years old. My dad gave Mom his cane and wobbled out of the row of seats. There were at least 6 flights of stairs to get to the bottom of the arena. My dad took the first step down without his cane, and I thought he was going to fall down the stairs, and he took the second step. And the next thing I remember, we were racing each other down the stairs to the bottom. When we got to the bottom, a lady grabbed my dad by the shoulder and said, "God told me to wait for you." She took his hand and led us straight to the side of the stage, and one of the ushers started asking him what God had done for him. And he quickly told him what had happened, and the next thing we knew, we're on stage and my dad is running back and forth with no cane, something I hadn't seen my dad do in over 6 years at that time. The rest was just an amazing blur. A long story short, my dad has been walking fine ever since. 16 plus years. He went back to the doctors afterwards and they could not explain what had happened. Even though that happened when I was younger, it's hard not to have doubts as an adult that some people are phonies when it comes to these types of churches, programs. And at least for my dad, the one confirmed case that I know of, it was 100% real. And that is incredibly powerful, ladies and gentlemen. And, again, it's not about advocating one religion over another or one set of beliefs over another. But here's the rub for me, and here's the deal for me. I don't mean the rub as in here's where I have a problem with it. Here's the thing. And this is me soapboxing. So, again, these are the way I look at it. And you can take it or leave it, and that's fine. I don't pretend to know. I can't know. But I know the truth in my heart. And what that is that I believe that we are divine beings, all of us. And I believe that when we believe something, it becomes powerful. We believe in figures. We believe in philosophies. And when you believe in those things, they become real. And we realize them. And realize is a fantastic word because it's making something real. Now, when you have belief, let's say, for instance, a superstitious person, it seems really ridiculous to say, you shouldn't walk under a ladder. It's like, Who the hell cares? As long as you get to where you're going, however you get there shouldn't be important. But a person that believes that walking under a ladder is going to be a problem, after they walk under a ladder, they're going to experience problems. They're going to experience all kinds of events that seem to correlate and reinforce that belief. So it's really a self-limiting philosophy that if you believe something has power over you, it does. And that can be bad and that can be good. But I really believe that you have to give things permission. You have to give a religious person permission to heal you. And you do that by having belief, having faith. But in the end, does that therefore then make us the creator of the miracle itself? And I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there. And again, I don't pretend to be able to speak with any authority other than what's in my heart, and I'm just sharing it with you. But I think these are very powerful, and I think they're incredibly poignant to know that either A, there are these incredible beings that are watching over us and making sure we're okay, and B, if you don't believe in that part, then the empowering thing is that you have the ability to create amazing things if you give yourself permission to. And what is the limit of what you could create? Well, I can't state that. And that's up to you to define, but it's just an idea. But I think it's very powerful either way. If you believe that something has that power, then that's a beautiful thing, and I hope it works out for you. And if you believe that you have that power, then that's a beautiful thing, and I hope that works out for you as well. So, I don't know, just some thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, but I think it's incredibly powerful, and I think there are amazing things all around us, so you just got to believe in you and whatever else you choose to. But I love you all so much, very, very much. We'll be back again tomorrow night with Don for our regularly scheduled 2-hour program of the Paranormal Portal on Wednesday here on the YouTube, 7 p.m. as well. So every time the Paranormal Portal comes up, 7 p.m. is the time, Pacific Standard Time. So keep watching for it. And if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. And hit the bell so you get reminded the next time we're online. So that's about all I got for you tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and sweet dreams. I love this whole bedtime theme. It just leaves so much for word plays. You got to love that. So it's way too short. Sorry, Gentry. I'd love to do, 3-4 hour episodes every night. I really would. But I don't know how much I've got to say sometimes. It all revolves around me being able to sit in the mic and fill it with noise. And, if you want, we can discuss recipes or something. No, I'm just kidding. But I hope you guys are all wonderful. And again, we'll be back tomorrow night for our regularly scheduled Wednesday show. And if you have a story or an encounter or an experience of your own that you'd like to share, either with just me or with the show, let me know. You can email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. And if you don't want to be named or you don't want to give away your identity, that's fine. Just tell me in the email whether it's okay to use your name or if you'd want to be referred to as whatever. Go ahead and fill in the blank. But I'd love to hear what you've been through and what you're experiencing. And I'd love to share it with the rest of our listeners. So definitely do that. And otherwise, follow us on Twitter. We're on Twitter at Paranormal Portal, PORTL, and Facebook at facebook.com/Paranormal Portal Radio. Oh, excuse me. I took a drink right before the show, and now it's coming back at me. But I think that's about all I got, guys. But if you've got anything to share, let me know. I'm just looking at the chat, and there's a bunch of you in there. And it's tough for me to stop the shows when there's so many of you here. I can read you one more, I guess. I don't know. We'll call this the encore. This one is somebody who was really born with quite a few problems. And they said, I was born 3 months too early, prematurely in the 90s, and I survived, which is a miracle for the time. And with cerebral palsy as one of the outcomes, they said I would never walk, run, or function normally. I learned to do all of that and more. Now I can do almost anything I set my mind to. And I'm an independent single mother, and I have lived alone and raised him along with all the things I shouldn't have been able to do. It is yet another miracle. That is really true. Good for you, lady, whoever you are. I think that's amazing and powerful. And any of you guys out there that actually conquer, what you first were supposed to not do. Let me read you another one. I can't leave you guys yet. Sorry. All right. Wow, let's see. This one says, I was working as a nursing tech and assistant at the intensive care unit, and I was getting a report form the night shift, and she told me about a patient that wasn't doing well. And this one, I didn't know if it was really divine intervention, but it's a survivor story, so that's good. The patient had an emergency cesarean section and then numerous complications, and they couldn't control the bleeding. The night tech was running to get blood products all night, and I did it a couple of times during the day. This woman looked like hell. I worked about a week later and was asking about how she was doing, and she was still in the ICU, and I went to her room. She looked like a completely different person. Went from tons of machines hooked up to sitting in a chair with her baby next to her. Yes, this was all thanks to hardworking doctors and nurses, but it was still amazing. She needed around 80 or more blood products in 24 hours, and yet she still lived to tell the tale. Very cool. Very cool. And just amazing stuff, ladies and gentlemen. But now that really is all I had ready for you guys. So if you want anything more, it's going to be me sitting here looking at the camera and making noise. So I don't know how much fun that is for everybody, but you guys take care. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice to each other, help each other out. And again, we'll be here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to do the 2-hour show of our Wednesday nights. So Don will be with me. I won't be shooting alone anymore. So we'll talk to you guys then, and take care.